Your phone buzzes. Maybe it's a parent, a sibling, a child, a colleague, a friend, someone who had hurt you recently or someone whom you have hurt. And you're faced with a question. This is going to be a hard conversation. I need to be direct and honest in my response to this person. And you're faced with a question. Do I procrastinate? Do I rehearse it 50 times in the mirror and maybe respond in a while, a day, a week, a month? Or do I face this conflict head on, directly, and answer as in blunt and honest, straightforward terms? Now, confrontation is difficult. We all struggle with it so deeply. And we learn from this week's Parsha that the Av who struggled with it the most, seemingly, is Yaakov Avinu. Our Parsha tells us about Yaakov's encounter with the angel. Dramatic, mysterious, powerful. They get into a big fight, and then at the end, Yaakov wins and receives a blessing, the name of Yisrael. A seemingly very positive ending to the story. Great, Yaakov faced this angel, now he's ready to face Esav. But then there's one detail, one additional element that seems really unnecessary, and it's unclear at all what the point is. Right when Yaakov's getting up, the angel hits his thigh, his gid Hanasheh, his sciatic nerve, injures it, causing Yaakov to limp. What's the point of this detail to the story? What does this add to his conflict with the angel? He's already won. What's the point of Yaakov being left with this strange limp? It doesn't make any sense. Well, let's paint the picture for the moment. It's the middle of the night. Yaakov has just put his family across the river to protect them from the incoming confrontation from Esav. But the Torah tells us that Yaakov that night was on the other side of the river, away from everyone else. Why? The Rashbam tells us that Yaakov was trying to run away. He knew he was going to confront his brother that next day, and he said, I'm going to run away. I'm going to avoid. I don't want to face this conflict head on. I want to escape. That might seem strange that Yaakov's going to leave his whole family, but if we think about the pattern of Yaakov's life, it actually makes perfect sense. When Yaakov is first confronted with Esav threatening him, after Yaakov takes Esav's bracha, he runs away from his father's house. Yes, at the request of his mother, but he still does it. He runs away. And then when the house of Lavan becomes unbearable, all that tension, that stress with his father-in-law Lavan, he escapes in secret in the middle of the night with his family. Whenever conflict arises, Yaakov's first instinct is always the same. Run away. Now he wants to run away from Esav again. And he comes into conflict with the angel. And for the first time in Yaakov's life, running away is not an option. The angel says, you need to come through me in order to run away. And when Yaakov succeeds, he's given the name Yisrael. Why? The angel tells us, for you have struggled with Hashem and you have succeeded. Yaakov, you think the only way to move forward, to succeed, is by running away? Well, we just learned that if you just can deal with confrontation head on, directly, you actually can succeed. And this is all confirmed, concretized in a symbolic action. The angel injures Yaakov's leg, causing him a limp where he physically can't run away anymore. So now Yaakov is left with this lesson. You can deal with confrontation head on and succeed. There's nothing to be afraid of, and you physically can't run away even if you wanted to. And that becomes a lesson for the Jewish people forevermore. The Torah tells us Bnei Yisrael no longer eat from the gid Hanasheh because Yaakov was injured by this angel. It becomes something that's lasting in our memory forevermore. We know that a generation later, Yaakov's son Yehuda is faced with this same question this same conundrum. His brother's been taken into captivity, and now Yosef, disguised as the viceroy of Egypt, is threatening to take Binyamin also. And Yehuda is faced with, should I run away? Should I say I did my best, return to my father and say, look, there's nothing we could do. This man's the second most powerful person in all of Egypt. What are we supposed to do? Or should he do what he does? The Torah tells us, Vayigash elav Yehuda. Yehuda came forward. He said, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to deal with this conflict head on, directly, without an escape plan. And he's successful. And in that moment, he brings together the entire house of Yaakov, and they become Bnei Yisrael. Yehuda has shown that the children of Yaakov are going to break the pattern, break the chain, and instead take on the identity of Bnei Yisrael that faces their challenges directly, head on, without trying to escape. So the question the Torah leaves us with is, are we going to follow in Yaakov's pattern? Or are we going to live up to Yisrael's capacity for courage? Are we going to teach our children how to have hard conversations? It's not going to be easy, but that we're capable of it if we address them directly, honestly, bluntly, with kindness, but direction? Or are we going to try to run away? Are we going to try to avoid and follow in that pattern that the angel was trying to break? And the Torah teaches us through this week's Parsha that the bravest thing we can do is to stop running and instead look our conflicts, our confrontations in the face and say, I can succeed. Like Yisrael, I can succeed. Good Shabbos.